Hello students, we meet again. We had started the Unit 3 Magnetic Effects of Current. According to Oersted's discovery, we know now that a current carrying conductor has a magnetic field around it. And we have used Biot-Savart law to find the magnetic field due to two systems. One was the circular wire at its center, and the other one again a current carrying circular wire at a point on its axis. In some cases, we can't find the magnetic field intensity using Biot-Savart law. Just as in electrostatics, whenever we could not use Coulomb's law to find the electric field intensity, we used Gauss's theorem to find the electric field intensity. Similarly, here we have another law, Ampere's circuital law. Wherever Biot-Savart law can't be used, there Ampere's circuital law is used to find the magnetic field intensity due to a current carrying system. Now here, let us first state the law. The law states that the line integral of the magnetic field intensity, it is equal to mu naught times the current threading through a closed loop. I'll repeat the law. The line integral of the magnetic field intensity in a closed loop is equal to mu naught times the current threading through the closed loop. Now, what is the meaning of closed loop here? Closed loop is an imaginary closed curve. We call it as the Amperian loop, similar to what we used when we were applying Gauss's theorem. There we called the surface as Gaussian surface. Here it is a line, it is a closed loop, and we call it Amperian loop. Whenever we apply Ampere's law, first of all we will have to consider an Amperian loop, and then we will apply the law on the Amperian loop. Here I am saying mu naught. Mu naught is the absolute permeability in free space or vacuum. But if the system is in some other medium, then we will use the absolute permeability of that system. Let us apply this law to a straight current carrying conductor. The first application, the magnetic field due to a straight current carrying conductor. Here, let us take a straight wire and say the current is flowing in the upward direction. Let us take an Amperian loop. We want to find the magnetic field at a point P. This point P, say it is at a distance R from the wire. Let us consider an Amperian loop. Here we will consider a circular Amperian loop. The center of the circle will be the wire, and R will be the radius of the circle. Now we will apply the Ampere's law to this Amperian loop. Let us see the left hand side. The left hand side of the law is B dot dl. Since we are finding the magnetic field at the point P, let us see the direction of B and dl at point P. At point P, if we consider this as this circle as the magnetic line of force, we will talk about it later once again. If we consider this as the magnetic line of force, then at this point P, the tangent at the point P, tangent to the circle, will give the direction of B. And dl is a current element, a very small current element. So the direction here of the current element is also along B. Since B and dl are in the same direction, so this becomes B dl cos 0 degrees or B dl. If we say the value of B is constant, because B depends on the value of the current flowing in the wire. Current being constant, B will be constant. So we can take it out of the integral, B integral dl. If we integrate integrate over dl, the current elements, over the complete circle, that will give us the circumference. So we will get B into 2 pi r. Now let us see the right hand side. The right hand side is mu naught into the current threading through the Amperian loop. Now what is the current threading through the loop? Here we have the wire, say wire is in the plane of the board, then the Amperian loop that we have taken, it is perpendicular to the plane of the board. That is, in this plane, the current will be flowing, the current that will be flowing will be I. So we can write here mu naught I. Comparing left hand side and right hand side, we will get B into 2 pi r equals to mu naught I, or B equals to mu naught I upon 2 pi r. This expression gives us the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity at a point P due to the current carrying wire. We also want to find the direction of the magnetic field here. The direction of the magnetic field is given by right hand rule. The right hand rule has two parts. One part is the right hand thumb rule and the other one is right hand palm rule. Here we can use the right hand palm rule. The thumb will give the direction of the current in the wire. If we hold the wire with our right hand, with the thumb pointing in the direction of the current, then the curled fingers of our palm will give the direction of the magnetic lines of force. The magnetic lines of force we will get, and from the magnetic lines of force we can find the direction of the magnetic field, because magnetic field for any point at any point will be the tangent to the magnetic line of force. So in this case, the magnetic line of force, if I draw here, they will be circular magnetic lines of force pointing in this direction, like this, for a current I that is flowing in the upward direction. Okay. Next application, we will find the magnetic field due to a current carrying solenoid. What is a solenoid? Solenoid is a closely wound wire in the form of a helix, just like a spring. Here usually we talk about a long solenoid. A long solenoid means a solenoid whose length is very large in comparison to its diameter. And since we are saying current carrying solenoid, the two ends of the solenoid wire we will connect to a battery. the current is flowing in the solenoid. Now let the number of turns here be capital N. This N is very large because the turns are very closely wound. So instead of seeing the total number of turns, what is done is a term small n is used, which is the number of turns per unit length. So if the number of turns had been capital N and capital L would have been the length of the solenoid, then we would have small n, the number of turns per unit length, as N by N. Now this solenoid, it is having magnetic field around it. For a long solenoid, it is usually, we will discuss the quality of the field in the next class. Right now, we want to see the amount, the magnitude of the magnetic field. So, the magnetic field, it is found that inside the solenoid, the field is uniform, and outside the solenoid, the field is 0. Now, using these two parameters, that the field is uniform here, we can draw the magnetic lines of force. The magnetic lines of force, since we are saying that the field is uniform, therefore the magnetic lines of force will be parallel to each other. They will be like this. In this way, we can sketch the magnetic lines of force for a current carrying solenoid. Now, first of all, to find the magnetic field, we will have to choose a Amperian loop. Here the Amperian loop that we will choose will be a rectangle. Okay, and I will redraw this figure. I'll choose a rectangular Amperian loop. Let us label this loop A, B, C, D. We are going from A to B, B to C, C to D, and D to A. This is a closed loop that we have chosen. Now we will apply Ampere's law on this loop. So the left hand side of the Ampere's law, this, let us take the length of the rectangle as small n. The left hand side is integral B dot dl. This line integral has to be applied to the Amperian loop. Now this integral we can divide into 4 parts. Integral from A to B, then B to C, then from C to D, and finally from D to A. Let us see these 4 integrals one by one. See the first integral, A to B, B dot dl. Here the direction of B, just before we had drawn the magnetic lines of force, they are in the same direction as AB. Therefore, and dl is also in the same direction. So here the angle between B and dl will be 0 degrees. So this integral, first integral, will become B dl cos 0 degree A to B. In the second integral from B to C, the angle between B and dl, since magnetic lines of force are parallel lines here, B and dl will be, the angle between them will be 90 degrees. So the next integral will become from B to C, B dl cos 90. The next integral, B dl from C to D. C to D is outside the solenoid, and we had discussed this, that the magnetic field outside the solenoid is 0. Therefore, this will be 0, B will become 0, and again in the last integral from D to A, the angle between B and DL is again 90. So, B dl cos 90. This integral becomes 0. This integral becomes 0. We are left with just B dl from A to B. B being constant, we can take it outside, and dl from A to B will give us B into L, because L is the length of the rectangle that we had chosen. So left hand side becomes B into L. Now let us see the right hand side. The right hand side is mu naught into the total current threading through the Amperian loop. The total current threading through the Amperian loop. In this Amperian loop, how many turns are there? The number of turns in length L will be equal to N into L, because N is the number of turns per unit length, and the current flowing through NL turns will be NLI. So here in the right hand side we can write mu naught into NLI. There are L number of turns, and the current through each turn being I, the current threading through the Amperian loop will be NL into I. Now comparing the left hand side and right hand side, the left hand side was BL, right hand side is mu naught NLI. The expression becomes P equals to mu naught NI. This is the magnitude of the magnetic field intensity due to a current carrying solenoid. This is the magnitude of the field inside the solenoid. The direction of the field can also be taken. The direction of the field is found by clock rule, or we also call it end rule. What is done is, the solenoid is seen from its end, one of the end, and if the current appears to be clockwise on that end becomes south pole. If the current seems to be in the clockwise direction, that end of the solenoid is the south pole. And if the current appears to be in the anti-clockwise direction, then that end is the north pole. In this case, since the current is flowing in this marked direction, if we see from this end of the coil, end of the solenoid, the current will appear to be clockwise. So this end becomes south pole, and if we happen to see the current from here, the current will appear to be anti-clockwise, and therefore this end of the solenoid will become north pole. Actually, a current carrying solenoid behaves just like a magnet. In fact, its magnetic field is similar to that of a bar magnet, and this becomes the south pole and this is the north pole. So in your lower classes you must have seen, if we take a iron nail and we wind a wire and connect the wire to a battery, then this nail becomes behaves like a magnet, and it is able to attract small all pins near it. In fact, it becomes an electromagnet. This is the principle of the electromagnet. So the magnitude of the magnetic field inside the solenoid is mu naught n into I, and the direction is given by this rule. There is one more application that we have to discuss, the magnetic field due to a current carrying toroid. We will discuss it in the next class. Thanks. Have a good day. Stay safe.